Hi everyone, this is Deb Tim coming to you from my little pond. Unfortunately, I had to take the pots out because the plants have died. So I picked up some hyacinths that float and bloom. And I had them last year and they just take over the whole pond. Fish are looking good. And the pond is really looking good. My plants are growing in. I think I'm going to get a couple more plants and hang them around the top of the pond, flowering plants. But right now, this is what it's looking like. Being in Canada, we have oodles and oodles of maple trees. This is a little one. And this maple tree I picked last summer, and he was about 8 inches tall. And I put him in this pot and put him kind of in a sheltered spot, and he is doing wonderfully. So then around this corner is my rhubarb patch, and these, a huge bush is my raspberries. It needs to be tied up a little better, but it's already full of blossoms, so it's going to be a good year for raspberries. So this raised bed is 16 feet by 8 feet, and this is where I plant my cucumbers, squash, zucchini, and then usually down in the end I plant my peppers and tomatoes. Around the garden is really unsightly. There's our mulch buckets over there, but hubby is going to clean that up because that's his job. Mine is the work in the garden. So then this is my flower bed, and I have all different types of hostas. There's my bird bath, which needs water. I also paint rocks for my gardens. So these are just little rocks I've painted to dress up the garden. It's a green garden, so little colors like that help. Here's a cute rock with my hens and chicks. Yeah, they're cute. They're fun to do. It's a good thing to do over the winter when you're bored. And then when the grandkids come, they get to paint rocks too. Now this rock has a little story behind it. It's very special. My neighbor at our old home, Tanis, she was a little old woman, very frail, but she loved to putter in her garden. And she had found this rock somewhere. Hi, Finn. And she begged her husband to bring it home for her. And he did. And then at Tanis's funeral, Steve came up to me and told me that Tanis had asked him to give me her rock, which was really special because her and I used to joke about the rock and how our gardens would wither and die, but this rock will stay forever. So now, Finn, hi. Sorry. So now I have this rock, and Finn has this rock. Thanks, Finn. As a memento of Tanis, and I will always treasure it. So moving on, this is another hosta, a sedum bush. Hostas mixed with ferns, sedum, a little lamb. There's a ladder. This flower bed here is not as well looked after, only because it was all ground cover, and I pulled it all out last year and it all came back this year, so I've already pulled it out again, but now I need to fill it up with a good dose of topsoil. Hopefully that'll help it along. Oh, and there's my horseshoe pit, my 5 sons, and husband are all very competitive horseshoe pliers. And then these trees here, we've grown from tiny little trees, and they're only about 3 years old now, and they're really doing well. So I'm quite happy with them. So these 3 maple trees, believe it or not, these 2 side by side here are the same age. They were about a foot tall when we planted them, and we put that wrap around them so the bunnies don't get the bark. But they're growing really good. You really don't need to go buy trees. You just have to raise your own if you have the patience. So they're doing pretty good. And then we have a row of shrubs around this side of the yard. So this little flower bed is my peonies garden. That's all that's in there, and they're well-established plants. There's my cat, Finnegan, having a drink. But they're well-established plants that we had transferred from somewhere else. And there's red, pink, and white in there. And that brings me to my other raised garden, which is also 16 by 8. This patch here are my herbs, and I have everything in there from sage, oregano, rosemary, dill, garlic, chives, parsley, and the most of it is mint. And if you're like me and like mojitos, you don't mind having your mint growing crazy. And then over there is my second patch of rhubarb. So here we are back where we started, at my pond. Sometimes when it gets real warm, I feel like I could just go dump in there with my fish. I bet they wouldn't mind. So this concludes a tour of my yard. I really enjoyed showing you a peek into my life, other than my fish tanks. So I'm really happy you watched, and I thank you for watching. If you want to comment, that would be wonderful, and I will I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.